Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Preeti Kaur. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to hold discussions with Abu Dhabi Crown Prince Al Nahyan to meet on wide range of issues. Crown Prince to also call on President Draupadi Murmu. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar will attend the first India-Gulf Cooperation Council Foreign Ministers meeting. Also expected to hold bilateral meetings with counterparts from GCC member countries. Venezuela opposition leader Edmundo Gonzalez granted asylum in Spain, vows to continue to fight for democracy. Mercado says his life was in danger in Venezuela. In Pakistan, thousands of supporters of Pakistan's former Prime Minister Imran Khan protest in Islamabad, call for his swift release. World number one Jannik becomes the first Italian to win the US Open, beats Taylor Fritz as US fans wait for the end of a 21-year drought continues. The Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi, Sheikh Khalid bin Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, arrived in New Delhi on Sunday evening on an official visit to India. He was received by Union Minister for Commerce and Industry, Piyush Goyal, and was accorded a ceremonial welcome. This is his first visit to India as the Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi. He will meet Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Monday and hold discussions on a wide range of areas of bilateral cooperation. The Crown Prince is also scheduled to call on President Draupadi Murmu and also visit Rajghat to pay tributes to Mahatma Gandhi. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar is in Riyadh, the capital and the largest city of Saudi Arabia, to take part in the first India-Gulf Cooperation Council Foreign Ministers meeting. During the visit, he is expected to hold bilateral meetings with foreign ministers from GCC member countries. India and the Council enjoy a deep and multifaceted relationship in areas including political, trade and investment, energy cooperation, cultural and people-to-people ties. On day one of his visit, India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar visited the Saudi National Museum and King Abdul Aziz Foundation for Research and Archives in Riyadh. The minister's visit to this iconic place brought out India's deep historical connect that now serves as a foundation to develop a strong contemporary relationship. A quick look at other stories making it to the headlines from India. Police force of Assam deployed a few anti-drone systems in the state at fringe areas to repel any rogue drones. CRPF has also tested one anti-drone system and given it to the force deployed in the state. Some more anti-drone guns are being brought to the state by CRPF shortly. The state police has also started the process for procurement of anti-drone system to enhance its security measures and tackle threats from drones effectively. People from all walks of life joined the doctors' protest across Kolkata on Sunday night as part of the Reclaim the Night protest. Meanwhile, West Bengal Governor directed Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee to hold an immediate emergency cabinet meeting and discuss the issue. Also, the Supreme Court is scheduled to hear the case related to the alleged rape and murder of a trainee doctor at Kolkata's R.G. Kar Medical College and Hospital on Monday. Experts in Kashmir, Srinagar organized an awareness program focused on the protection and preservation of the water bodies, vital to the ecological balance and livelihood of the area. Kashmir is home to numerous lakes, rivers and wetlands, including the famous Dal Lake and Wooler Lake, which are not only important for tourism but also for supporting local communities with fishing, agriculture and providing potable water. The program also highlighted the need to address pollution. after the launch of the 7th Rashtra Poshan Mah, a month-long event aimed at improving ground-level nutrition outcomes and encouraging behavioral changes. So far, 1.37 crore activities have been reported, demonstrating the widespread enthusiasm and commitment to improving nutrition outcomes among infants and youth children. The Forest Department in Bharuch in North India's Uttar Pradesh installed snap cameras at most of the probable habitats of wolves in the area to monitor them and catch them. Currently, more than 40 villagers have been injured by attacks from the killer wolves. In this operation, 3 cameras have also been installed in Sikandarpur village, around 6 caves, which local villagers claimed to be the habitat of the wolves. Aarti was performed at one of the most iconic and revered Ganesh idols in Mumbai, Lal Bagh Raja, on Sunday as part of the annual Ganesh Chaturthi festival. The event attracted millions of devotees on the auspicious day. The mammoth crowd, the intense devotion and the vibrant energy made the Aarti at Lal Bagh Raja a unique spiritual experience. Many devotees waited for hours in long queues in a disciplined way for a glimpse of the idol and to take part in the Aarti. Let's get to you updates from other parts of the world now. Venezuelan opposition presidential candidate Edmundo Gonzalez has fled the country after being granted asylum in Spain. Spain's foreign ministry said in a statement, Gonzalez arrived at the Torrejón de Ardoz military base with his wife. Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Mercado said that Gonzalez left Spain because his life was in danger. The exit of Gonzalez came a week after Venezuelan authorities issued an arrest warrant for him, accusing him of conspiracy and other crimes. Venezuela's opposition says the July 28th election resulted in a resounding victory for Gonzalez. President Maduro dismissed all such assertions and said that there was a right-wing plot to sabotage his government. Gonzalez said in a recorded message that he trusts he will continue the fight for the return of democracy in Venezuela from Spain. Thousands of supporters of Pakistan's jailed former Prime Minister Imran Khan gathered in Islamabad, demanding the release of former Prime Minister. Khan's Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf party organized the rally, marking its first show of strength since the disputed elections in February. Imran Khan has been behind bars for more than a year on what his party calls more politically motivated charges. Khan's party had initially planned the protest in July. However, it was postponed when the district administration denied permission. The local administration pushed the event to September 8th. Khan, who lost power in a parliamentary vote of no confidence, said the army has been backing the politically motivated cases against him, which the military has denied. Thousands of Mexicans, mainly court employees and law students, protested in the capital on Sunday against a controversial judicial reform proposal that would see judges elected by popular vote. They gathered in Mexico City as the Senate began to debate the initiative pushed by outgoing President Andrés Manuel López Obrador and approved by the lower house. It called the Chamber of Deputies, in which the ruling party holds sway. The proposed reform, which would see the election of judges of the Supreme Court and other tribunals as well as magistrates, has sparked diplomatic tensions with the U.S., prompted protests by the opponents and upset the financial markets. Algeria's incumbent president Abdelmadjid Tebboune has been re-elected to the position with an emphatic vote, according to the country's electoral authority. But a rival candidate alleged irregularities in the court, and fewer than half of the registered voters cast ballots. Official preliminary results gave Tebboune 95% of the vote, enough to avoid a second-round runoff, with Abdelali Hassani Cherif getting 3% and Youssef Okachi getting 2%. A total turnout was 48%. Hassani Sharif's campaign said polling station officials had pressure to inflate results and alleged failures to deliver vote sorting records to candidates' representatives, as well as instances of proxy group voting. Spain's Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez has kicked off a three-day visit to China with Beijing's anti-dumping probe into European Union pork imports as a backdrop. Sanchez will meet President Xi Jinping on Monday after a welcoming ceremony at People's Palace. China and the European Union have been embroiled in a trade dispute after EU regulators announced provisional duties on Chinese-made electric vehicles. In retaliation, China opened anti-dumping investigations into brandy, dairy and pork products from the EU. China has been advising the 27-member states of the EU to reject the European Commission's proposal to adopt additional duties on Chinese-made electric vehicles when they vote on it in October. US plane maker Boeing has averted a possible strike after reaching a tentative labor deal with union representing more than 32,000 workers in the US Pacific Northwest, the latest in a series of labor negotiations that brought double-digit wage increase despite a tight labor market and stubborn inflation. If approved, the proposed 4-year contract, which includes a general wage increase of 25% and commitment to build the next commercial airplane in the Seattle area, is an important win for new Boeing CEO Kelly Ortberg, who took over last month with a mandate to turn around quality at the plane maker, an issue that a deal with labor could help. The first full labor deal in 16 years would also include better retirement benefits and give the union greater input in the safety and quality of the production system. You're watching DD India Live. We're heading for a short break, but after the break, at least 48 people killed in Nigerian fuel truck explosion. With no concrete solution to the Israel-Hamas crisis inside, protests continue in Tel Aviv against Israeli government's lax handling of the crisis. The summer sporting extravaganza comes to an end with the conclusion of Paris Paralympics. India ends campaign at the 18th spot with a record 29 medals.
Always welcoming. The vibe of Punjab is larger than life. Warm up to grandeur that's beyond compare. And history that's dotted with tales of bravery. Smiling soul of India, where music, art, cuisine and culture comes together to create an unforgettable impression. Punjab is all set to win your hearts with its unique and colorful extravaganza.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India Live. Let's continue getting you more international updates. Protesters in Tel Aviv blocked traffic on Sunday as frustration mounts over the Israeli government's handing of hostages held by Hamas in Gaza. The demonstrations erupted after 6 hostages were brutally killed by Hamas last week, fueling public outcry. Thousands have taken to the streets demanding action. On Sunday, several hundred demonstrators gathered near the Israeli Defense Ministry, briefly halting traffic to amplify their demands. The tension is especially high for families like that of Matan Angres, a 21-year-old Israeli soldier held by Hamas. His parents are calling on the government to act swiftly, fearing for his life and urging them to prevent any more deaths in Gaza. The situation grows increasingly tense as public pressure intensifies. In a video released on Sunday, Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant warned of potential escalation with Hezbollah in Lebanon, signaling that Israel is preparing for intensified conflict in the north. Addressing Israeli troops, Gallant emphasized that the situation could shift rapidly, urging readiness for any developments along the northern front. He also reaffirmed Israel's commitment to eliminating Hamas and its leadership, specifically targeting Yahya Sinwar, who orchestrated the deadly October 7th attacks that ignited the ongoing conflict in Gaza. Gallant's statements come as tensions in the region rise, with Israel bracing for multiple fronts in its border fight against the militant groups.
In Gaza, we need to achieve our two goals, both to eliminate Hamas and to return the hostages. And we are on this matter with all our might. At the same time, we are looking at the entire war fronts, and this means that while you are fighting here in Gaza, we are preparing for anything that can happen in the north, and moving the center of gravity can be quick and can also include you on a short schedule, and we are prepared for all these possibilities.
The Israeli army released a footage on Sunday showing what it described as strikes on Hamas targets in Gaza. The military operations, which have intensified in the recent days, have claimed at least 61 lives, according to the local medics. Israeli forces continue to battle Hamas across the Gaza Strip. Gaza's health ministry reported that since the conflict began on October 7th, at least 40,972 Palestinians have been killed, with another 94,761 injured in the ongoing offensive. The escalating violence has taken a heavy toll on the region, with airstrikes continuing as Israel targets Hamas strongholds in Gaza. Tensions flared along the Russia-Ukraine border as Belgorod's governor reported that Ukrainian forces attacked a fuel depot, sparking multiple fires. Regional Governor Gladkov said that several fuel reservoirs ignited after explosions, with firefighting teams battling the flames. He also confirmed drone strikes in 3 other areas, though no casualties were reported. Meanwhile, overnight air raids claimed 2 lives and injured 4 in Ukraine's Sumy region, according to officials. In Belgorod, 3 people were hurt and homes and cars were damaged. Russia's defense ministry stated that it intercepted 2 Ukrainian drones over Belgorod and destroyed another over the Kursk region. The attacks come amid rising border hostilities, with each side blaming the other for escalation of violence. In Nigeria, at least 48 people were killed in a fuel tanker truck explosion on Sunday, following a collision with another truck in north-central Nigeria. The truck was carrying travelers and cattle, while several other vehicles were also caught up in the accident. Nigeria's state-owned firm NNPC Limited last week hiked the price of gasoline by at least 39%, the second major increase in more than a year, but shortages have continued, forcing motorists to queue up for hours in the country's major cities and towns. Kentucky authorities were searching a remote, heavily wooded area on Sunday for a suspected gunman who opened fire on vehicles traveling a rural stretch of Interstate 75 a day earlier. Officials named Joseph Couch as a suspect after discovering a car registered to him parked on a service road near the shooting site. The Laurel County Sheriff's Office said that a rifle case was recovered from the vehicle and an AR rifle was found near the car. Authorities also urged residents to stay away from the site of the manhunt as search teams scoured the rugged, rocky area near the interstate where they believe the gunman was contained. A quick look at other stories making it to the headlines with regard to weather updates. Typhoon Yagi, Asia's most powerful storm this year, was downgraded to a tropical depression on Sunday after wreaking havoc in northern Vietnam. According to authorities, the typhoon and subsequent landslides and floods killed 21 people in Vietnam and injured 229 after claiming lives of 4 people on the southern Chinese island of Hainan and 20 in the Philippines. In Morocco, torrential rains have caused floods that killed at least 11 people in southern provinces of Tata, Tiznit and Erakidia. Morocco's Interior Ministry spokesman said that 9 were missing in flooding caused by an exceptional climate phenomena in the southern areas. Now, according to the authorities, floods also destroyed 40 homes and damaged 93 roads, as well as electricity, water supply and phone networks were interrupted. In Romania, the violent vegetation fire in Maramureș has consumed hundreds of hectares of forest and agricultural land. At least 90 people had to be evacuated as more than 500 hectares of land and several buildings were damaged by the fire. The cause of the blaze was unknown. A fire service spokesperson said that 250 local firefighters were battling the blazes alongside the 40 firefighters from neighboring countries. Brazilians living along the Amazon's riverbanks struggle to access water amid a drought in the rainforest. They are being forced to rely on outside sources for drinking water. Brazil's Geological Service says that with no rainfall forecast for the region, water levels will continue to drop. The Brazilian Geological Service has warned that all rivers in the Amazon basin were expected to drop below their historical levels. You're watching DD India Live. Time now to get you updates from the world of business. Tokyo's Nikkei index shed more than 3% today after weaker than expected US jobs growth and speculation over a Fed rate cut caused global markets to slump. The benchmark Nikkei 225 was down 3.02% in early trade, while the broader Topix index fell 2.67%. US jobs data came in below analyst estimates on Friday, pointing to a slowing economy and causing shares to tumble. In Tokyo, semiconductor shares plunged, with Tokyo Electron sinking 5.77% and Advantest dropping 5.85%. While in India, investors eye markets after major indices closed at their lowest levels of the day on Friday. The Indian benchmark Sensex fell by more than 1,000 points and the Nifty dropped below 24,900, with declines driven by banking and IT stocks amid ongoing uncertainty about the Fed's interest rate cuts. The US markets on Friday too witnessed sharp sell-off when the S&P 500 notched its worst week since March 2023. The tech-heavy Nasdaq Composite also recorded its worst since March 2022. After business, we now turn focus to sports. In tennis, world number 1 Jannik produced a brilliant display of baseline power as he became the first Italian man to register a win over American Taylor Fritz in the final on Sunday. World number 1 Sinner has secured his second Grand Slam title of 2024, shattering American hopes of a first male champion at the majors in 21 years. Sinner secured a powerful 6-3, 6-4, 7-5 victory over Fritz. Also, Sinner was under a cloud of controversy at the start of the tournament, but avoided a ban when an independent tribunal accepted his claim. The 23-year-old broke for a sixth time in the contest to wrap up the win, with Fritz swiping a forehand into the net on match point. The Paris Paralympics 2024 came to an enthralling end on Sunday night with a spectacular closing ceremony at Stade, France. Some 24 French DJs, including electronic music pioneer Jean-Michel Jarre, as well as Cassius, played in the final part of the event. 169 delegations representing 168 national Paralympic committees took part in the closing ceremony. During the athletics parade, India were represented by Harvinder Singh and Preeti Pal as flag bearers. The Paralympic flag was officially handed over to Karen Bass, Mayor of Los Angeles, that will host the 2028 Games. All right, that's it in this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those of you on the go, you could get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. This app is available on both Android and iOS platforms, and you can download the respective QR codes. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Preeti Kaur signing off, and from all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.